Mr. Pretorius. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, there are two matters to be dealt with briefly today. The first is the postponement of the evidence of Mr. Dukwana, and Mr. Mokoena will address you on that if he may, and then I will deal very briefly with a housekeeping matter thereafter.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mokoena.
Mr. Chair, as already indicated by Mr. Pretorius, today was meant to be the day where we hear the evidence of Mr. Dukwana. As the legal team, we did receive his witness statement last week. In his witness statement, he implicates certain individuals. We deemed it necessary and prudent that we should comply with Rule 3.3 in order to issue the required notices. It is on those bases that we are unable today to proceed with Mr. Dukwana's evidence, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I am aware that counsel for Mr. Dukwana is also present. Maybe we could have him placed on record.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good morning, DCJ.
Good morning.
I'm Smanga Sitini for Mr. Dukwana.
Yes.
Mashallah Komani Masikela instructs me.
Yes.
I wish to confirm what Mr. Mokoena has told the chairperson.
Yes.
The statement indeed was furnished to the commission last week.
Yes.
And as Mr. Mokoena has already alluded to the fact that Mr. Dukwana implicates certain persons, we have been constrained, or shall I say, we have been unable to get some of the crucial information as promised by the Free State government. The information at our disposal that is in the statement is the information that was obtained through an Pillar application that was heard last year, October. And other than that, Mr. Dukwana, upon our advice, had to go to his private emails dating back to 2011. And that's where some of the crucial information was found. But the information as it relates to his cell phone records, official cell phone records, his official traveling records, and others, those remain outstanding. And we implore the chairperson to direct the Free State government to cooperate. We stand ready to attend to their officers to ensure that that crucial information is given to us so that we can supplement this statement. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Last year, about October, I made a call to the Premier of the Free State and spoke to her and indicated that the Commission would like the provincial government of the Free State to facilitate the obtaining of certain information by Mr. Dukwana, and that for that purpose there would be investigators of the Commission that would be ready to travel to Bloemfontein the following week for purposes of assisting Mr. Dugwana to get the information that he needed. I even indicated to the Premier when I spoke to her on the telephone that what was envisaged was that that trip would occur either on a Monday or on the following Monday or following Tuesday. I was speaking to her on a Friday afternoon. The Premier of the Free State, Ms. Dombela, assured me that the provincial government of the Free State would cooperate fully and that it would facilitate access to such information as the Commission may want to be made available for purposes of its investigation, and that was information that Mr. Dugwana had mentioned to either the investigators or the legal team of the Commission he needed. I am surprised that there is still information that he has not obtained from the provincial government, which he wants for purposes of assisting the Commission, and that this is the case about 6 months after that request has been made. I have not been informed, I had not been informed all along that there were challenges in getting the information from the provincial government of the Free State, but this morning I've been informed that there have been challenges. I have directed that arrangements be made with the provincial government, particularly the DG of the province, to make it possible for investigators of the Commission, a member of the legal team of the Commission, a member of Mr. Dugwana's legal team or more, and Mr. Dugwana to all converge on a date that will be agreed between the Commission and the provincial government, particularly the DG, provincial DG, or the DG of the province, for all of them to converge in Bloemfontein for purposes of making sure that before the end of this week, such information as should be released to the Commission for purposes of its investigation, or to Mr. Dugwana for purposes of him assisting the Commission with its investigations, is made available to the Commission and to Mr. Dugwana. I have had a meeting involving the Commission's legal team, members of the Commission's legal team, counsel for Mr. Dugwana, and the head of investigations of the Commission. And those arrangements will be made immediately. And if by end of today that date has been agreed when that visit to the provincial government will happen, then that must be done by sometime during this week. But if by end of today no concrete arrangement has been made for that visit, then I'm going to meet again tomorrow morning with Mr. Dugwana's counsel members of the legal team of the Commission and the head of investigations with a view to getting a full report why no concrete arrangement could be made, and then I will then decide what needs to be done beyond that to ensure that there is no further delay in the Commission getting this information and in Mr. Dukwana getting the information. So, so for purposes of that matter of a possible supplementary statement by Mr. Dukwana, and as well as for the purpose of compliance by the Commission with Rule 3.3 in terms of sending out Rule 3.3 notices to implicated persons, we are unable to hear Mr. Dukwana's evidence today, and I think there is a date that has been suggested.
There is, Chair. We did, as per your direction, fixed the 5th of April 2019 to be the date whereby we'll be proceeding to hear the evidence of Mr. Dukwana.
Okay. And that date has been agreed?
It has been agreed.
Yes. Okay, so Mr. Dukwana's evidence will then be heard on the 5th of April. So his evidence is postponed until then.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, a minor housekeeping matter, but nevertheless important for the integrity of the record.
Yes.
When Mr. Nene gave evidence, he referred to a SMS message received from Mr. Floyd Shavambu. That needs to be inserted in the record at page 73 of the Nene bundle. May I hand it up together with a memorandum, and it's necessary to place on record that the bundle K2, Nene's second bundle, will be divided into 3.
Yes.
K2A will be the application for condonation, K2B the application for postponement. Those are historical applications.
Yes.
And K2C will be the supplementary affidavit and related documents. So that the bundle of Mr. Nene's supplementary affidavit and documents is a separate bundle, untrammeled by a number of applications.
Yes, no, that's
so
fine.
if I may hand that up where this is placed on record.
Thank you very much.
Okay, careful.
Yes.
Those are the proceedings for today,
Yes.
and may we adjourn till 10 o'clock tomorrow for the next witness.
Maybe we should announce the witness for tomorrow, unless there is a reason not to announce.
Well, subject to certain logistical considerations that have to be clarified with the witnesses for this week, Mr. Piet Venter and Mr. Angelo Agrizzi will testify this week. And then on Friday will be further witnesses. Depending on the length of time that is allocated to each of those witnesses, the witnesses due for Friday may have to come on Monday. But we'll know by today, and I can announce tomorrow morning, Chair, exactly what the sequence will be. It unfortunately can't be determined now because consultations are taking place as we speak. That may affect the length of time the witnesses take, and even possibly the order in which they give evidence.
But the order wouldn't affect tomorrow, would it?
No.
Okay, so tomorrow we will hear the evidence of Mr. Peter Venter.
Yes.
And basically all the witnesses that we will hear this week relate to Bosasa.
Bosasa,
correct.
And
Mr. Agrizzi will be back to complete whatever evidence in relation to other issues that he might not have dealt with.
Yes, Chair. And then it's possible, if logistical arrangements can be made, there are several applications concerning
that can be
cross-examination
dealt
for next week.
Yes. And I think maybe tomorrow somebody from the legal team should deal with Mrs. Masego's affidavit because it doesn't seem
Sorry, I
that
didn't hear, Chair.
Mrs. Masego's affidavit.
Yes, Chair.
It doesn't seem necessary that she be called to give oral evidence, and it seems to me that her affidavit can be placed on record.
I will do that tomorrow morning. That's the
yes.
affidavit of Mrs. Anastasia Maseko.
Yes.
I will do that tomorrow
Yes. So basically, it will be Busasa evidence this week.
Yes, Chair.
And there is a possibility that it might go into early next week, depending on whether we finish by Friday.
Yes, Chair.
Yes. Okay, no, thank you. We will then adjourn the proceedings for today, and tomorrow we will start at 10, and if for the rest of the week the starting time will change, that will be announced. We adjourn.
Thank you.
Yeah, Channel 1. Channel 1 would like. Yeah. Yeah, sizama thola i-audio ingathi beyi-low. Yeah, the hiss. Yeah. It's the hiss that you hear from that, you know. Yeah. That hissing sound.